Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, my friends. If you haven't met me before, I'm Kat Miller, and in this video, I'm going to share with you how to develop a winning mindset in business so that you can stand out from your competitors. For the past 2 decades, I've been on a quest to understand what really separates the winners from the people who give up. What are the keys behind that winning mindset? And what I've discovered is that the ability to create a winning mindset is at the heart of transformation, true lasting transformation. And over the years, working with thousands of people, I've observed so many successful people and also so many people who have given up. And I've realized that success is so much more than just strategy. It's so much more than just knowing what to do. It all starts with what we're thinking about. And I believe that winning in business, it's not about beating other people. It's not about trying to be better than other people. It's about winning the war over your own fears and doubts. I love this quote by Roger Staubach. He says, winning isn't getting ahead of others, it's getting ahead of yourself. The way I view winning is it's about overcoming your personal challenges, because business is an extension of you. Business is a reflection of you. And when you discover what you're capable of personally, and when you can show yourself that you can do what you thought was previously impossible, that is what makes you win. In 2006, I was working as a personal trainer at Les Mills Gym in Auckland. Has anyone heard of Les Mills Gym? Les Mills is an incredible brand, global brand. When I moved to London, I went to the gyms over there, like LA Fitness and some of the big names over there, and they would have big Les Mills posters everywhere. And it was so exciting to see it because Les Mills was a New Zealand Olympian. Him and his wife, Colleen, they were Olympians, I believe in the 60s. And they started this chain of gyms called Les Mills in New Zealand. And I worked at the one in West Auckland in New Lynn, which had about 2,500 members in it at the time. It was 4 levels. It was awesome. And when I was working there, I was doing a lot of weight training, and I loved weight training. I was always in the gym. And I decided that I wanted to compete in a bodybuilding competition because I wanted to see what I was capable of. I wanted to put my work ethic, because I had a really strong workout ethic, into good use. I wanted to have a really great goal that I could achieve that was definitely outside of my comfort zone. I'd done a lot of Body for Life challenges. I don't know if anyone else here has done a Body for Life challenge, but Body for Life is this 12-week challenge by Bill Phillips. And I used to do a lot of them over the years, and competing was that next step for me. It was that next thing out of my comfort zone that was really scary. The thought of getting on a stage in a bikini as an introvert, as someone who really hates the spotlight, was so scary for me. And that's why I wanted to do it, because I love running at my fears. And so I decided to compete in the figure division. Figure is pretty strict. You have to be really lean. I think the leanest I got was around 10 to 11% body fat. And I thought that I would only do one competition because it's freaking brutal. It was hands down the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I spoke to a friend recently who wants to compete before his birthday, before his 40th, and he was asking me about it. And so this has kind of triggered me to, in a good way, to talk about it and to share a little bit about what I've learned from competing. And I said to him, the greatest lessons that I've learned have been through competing, because it absolutely stretched me to my ultimate limit and it raised the bar. So everything under that now feels so much easier. I thought I'd just do one. I wanted to develop the mindset. I wanted to see what I was capable of. I definitely wanted to grow, but I also wanted to coach other competitors. I wanted to coach bodybuilders and figure competitors and bikini models and fitness models. And I thought the best thing to do is to do it myself and learn how to do it so I can coach others. Anyway, that taste of victory was very addictive, and I ended up winning trophies. I've got some of them up here. You can see some of them up there on my shelf there. And I ended up doing 10 competitions over a period of 8 years from 2006 on. And I did it in New Zealand, and then I did it in the UK, and ended up competing at the national level in the UK and actually winning a national title in the figure division at the MPA there. And I placed in the top 3 out of the 10 competitions. I placed in the top 3 in 9 out of 10 of the competitions, and I won gold in 3 of them. And in the 10th competition, I came last. And it was the last time I competed. Losing just doesn't feel good. And one of the most important lessons I learned through competing is that your outcomes are so much more than the few minutes that you're on stage. And I'm not comparing myself at all to an athlete or to someone who does marathons or things like that. Like, they are a whole league of their own. But what I did realize is when I trained for competition, which was usually 4 to 5 months of training twice a day, no rest, often 3 times a day, very strict, obviously, calorie deficit. It's not about that moment on stage, although that moment is amazing. When I heard people, the judges call my name and received a trophy, that was incredible. But it was more who I became in the process. And this is what I want to share with you, the lessons that I learned that have really helped me in business, so that if you are wanting to know how to stand out from your competitors, if you're wanting to know how to have that winning edge, how to motivate yourself, inspire yourself to go the distance in business, and to, you know, walk through those valleys that are tough and come out the other side, because business is not easy, and business has a lot of hills and valleys, right? If you've been in business for a while, you know just how many mountains we need to conquer. And the way I define a winning mindset is being strong-willed in a way where you believe you can achieve what you set out to. A winning mindset is an attitude of action over time, not as a one-off, not when you feel like it, but over time. And I know that you probably don't necessarily want to be a champion or enter a competition and stand on stage in a bikini necessarily, but we all have that desire for growth and for being the best we can. So I've been pretty obsessed with creating success all my life, and obviously we all have a different definition of success and what that means. I mean, the dictionary definition is basically that it's the accomplishment of a purpose. So success is the accomplishment of your aim, your goal. But it's really what success means to you, and the private victories that you win when no one's watching, they're often the ones that are the most meaningful. You know, those days where you don't want to show up and do a Facebook Live video, or those days where you don't feel like creating new content or having 5 coaching calls in a row. You know, those moments where you have emotional days and all you want to do is, like when I was competing, there were days where I would cry, I'd be so emotional, and all I'd want to do is bury my head in a bowl of pasta and a glass of wine, and I couldn't do that. You know, I had to feel my feelings. I had to be with them. I couldn't buffer them. I couldn't numb out, which had been what I used to do in the past. And those are the moments that have stretched my capacity as a business owner. And a lot of people that I've worked with in business, as well as training world-class champions, world-winning champions that have won trophies on the world stages, has been that they've been obsessed with success, what success means to them. And they have been relentless in developing those habits that make themselves feel proud. It takes a lot of intentionality. We don't drift to winning. We don't drift to a winning mindset. We don't drift to success. It starts with intentional thinking. And more than any other year, this year for me has been one where I've had to dig so deep to constantly reset, to constantly choose a winning mindset when I didn't feel like it, when I wanted to choose a losing mindset. And I've had to choose to go through and feel my feelings. It takes that focused decision to push through that resistance between us and that winning mindset. But there's so much growth in it, right? There's so much growth in achieving any goal that we set out, and our capacity grows. So regardless of where you're at right now, these 5 things, these 5 lessons, I believe will really help you. So if you've got a pen and notebook, I would love it if you write these down. 5 ways to develop a winning mindset in business. Number 1 is to commit to your own success. Commit to your own success. Commitment is the ability to stay loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood has passed you by, right? So to stay committed, you have to have a reason. You have to have a why. The reason I've been so committed is that I made a promise to myself that I would do whatever it takes to succeed, because I believe that the gifts that I've been given are meant to be shared. And one of my reasons for wanting to stay in business and help so many business people is because I believe that the gifts I've been given are to be an example of possibility to other people, and that by me being that best version, me evolving into my best version, I help other people be that best version. And that reason, that promise I've made to myself is so strong. It's so strong because it has a deep meaning to me, and that's helped me stay committed. Just like in competing, you make a decision to compete, you set the date and you go for it. In business, we need to set dates with action, with a goal, with an action, and actually make it public. When I was competing, it wasn't until I told people that I was competing that it became real for me. Often I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. And I'll be about 20 weeks out, then 90 weeks out. I'm like, am I doing it? Am I doing it? Am I doing it? But as soon as I registered and as soon as I shared it with people, and obviously shared it with a coach, that was when it became real for me. So what are you committing to in your business? And are you telling other people about it? Are you saying, hey, I'm going to be doing a webinar this year. Hey, this quarter, I'm going to be doing my first Facebook Live video, or I'm going to release my first book, or I'm going to launch a podcast. Like, what are you committing to, and not giving yourself an out? And what's your reason? Because your reason has to mean something to you. When you have a real reason, you won't give up. If you don't have that clarity of the reason why you want it, you'll probably live life pretty aimlessly, just waking up in the morning and doing what you feel like, rather than having that commitment. This is what I'm doing no matter what. It's not just about setting the goal, but it's about having a standard. It's having a standard that you live by. And staying committed means being uncomfortable, right? And you know, the truth is, in life, we're going to be comfortable regardless. We're going to be uncomfortable regardless. We either get uncomfortable because we're not moving, we're not evolving. That's pretty uncomfortable. They say the comfort zone is the safest place, but it actually can get very uncomfortable, because it's outside the comfort zone that the real magic takes place. And that only comes when you're committed. You know, you can allow those emotional wounds to hold you back from committing. I'm afraid. I don't know where to start. I don't have time. I can't get myself to follow through. I have to think about it. That's too hard. You know, if you're having those emotional wounds run your life, then you're going to just go with the tide, like go with the flow, the current of everyone around you, rather than being committed no matter what. Like Henry Ford says, if you think you can't or you think you can, you're right. I heard this interview by Mark, I think it's Mark Schulman, the drummer for Pink. And he said, he was talking about how he heard Billy Idol being interviewed. And he said, I sing like every note depends on it. I sing like every note depends on it. And I love that, because he's not using excuses. He's not showing up and just giving half effort. He's been fully in. And, you know, winners know that they're 100% in control of their own destiny, and they don't use excuses when things go wrong. So that's number 1, commit to your own success and make it public. Tell other people about it. Number 2 is to show up like you're performing. Show up wherever you show up in your business, show up like you're performing. My coach, when I was training for those bodybuilding competitions, and when I was constantly pushing and pushing and pushing at the gym, there were days where I felt so exhausted, especially when she started dropping my calories and dropping my carbs down, and I had no carbs, but I had to train hard anyway. And I'd often say to her, oh, I just feel like I gave 70% today, or I just feel like I can't give it my 100. And she said, it's not about giving your 100% every day of your potential. It's about giving your 100% on any given day of what you've got available that day. And it really reframed it for me, because I always thought, oh gosh, I'm not always giving 100. I always wanted to give 100, but that's impossible, right? Like you can't always give 100. But you can give 100% of what's available to you that day in terms of your energy, your resources, what you can do on any given day, as well as putting in, your self-care, your sleep, all those other things that are super important. It doesn't mean, like, performing doesn't mean that you have to always show up perfect. It doesn't mean that you have to grind and have 3 coffees just to get through everything. But it's about giving what you can that day, giving your best effort that day. And when you think about how you're showing up at the moment, like if you think about what's your overall average day, are you showing up giving 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, or are you giving what you've got on that day, knowing that you've got all those other rocks in place of sleep, exercise, family time, time to yourself, all those other things in place, but then what you've got left over, are you going all in on that day? And are you thinking of everywhere you show up as a performance? Because when you think of it like as a performance, rather than thinking of it as just, oh, I'm just going through the motions, I committed to, you got the commitment, but you just go, okay, I've committed to showing up on Facebook Live every week, so I'll just show up and see what I feel like sharing. No, a winning mindset is the belief that our attitude, our mindset, our energy level fuels our performance, and everything you do is a performance. Down to the Zoom call you were on today, that was a performance. People are watching your life. People are watching to see if they want to work with you or not. The social media posts that you're creating, that is you performing, because you're taking yourself out into the public arena. And if you want to be a high performer, it requires overcoming fears and doubts. So how do you show up in your business? Do you show up as though you're performing, or do you just cruise along, just getting by, just chucking on an outfit, just pumping out something average? I'm not talking about perfection, because it's not about being perfect, but it's about showing up with superior communication skills, masterful influence, engage in your community, sharing, out contributing everyone else. And it all starts with your thoughts. I used to have so many negative thoughts. When I was growing up, I really lacked a lot of confidence. And the schools that I went to, there was just this common theme where it was quite normal to judge and criticize people. But I had a really great mum, and she introduced me to faith and to personal development. And I used to read her books by Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar. And I started listening to her tapes, like Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, and I think it was Les Brown and some of the old grandfathers of personal development. And that really made such a difference for me. And I was stuck in a job that I hated for many, many years, but it was personal development that really pulled me out of that. And it made me want to show up and just be my best and be in that positive state where I didn't focus on what was going wrong, but I focused on how I wanted to feel. Times where I was successful. When I was competing, when I was standing on stage, I would think about times that I'd accomplished something, and I'd look at the judges and be like, this is your winner. This is your winner. Look at me. I'm your winner. And it was like I commanded them to look at me in a way that, oh, I'm a winner. And I remember my coach saying to me, Kat, you're not competing against everyone. You're only competing against the ladies that have decided they want to win. And so I realized how important performance is. And I've brought that over into business. And this is what you can do as well. You can think about those past experiences that you've had of accomplishment, and you can bring them in. If you're feeling at a funk at the moment, if you're feeling a bit, if you're feeling like things aren't really happening as fast as you want them to, you can draw on experiences from your past, times that you've accomplished something great. I know there's many, many times that you've accomplished something great. Okay, number 3 is to surround yourself with people on the same mission as you. This is such an important one. We need to get really good at saying no to the things that do not move us to our yes. We need to know what our yes is, and we need to get really good at not hanging out with the people who are not helping us get there. You know, with a winning mindset, you'll have to give up some people. You'll have to choose to do some things that you don't want to do, and choose to be strategic in terms of who you hang out with. And it might be a case of changing your environment. It doesn't mean you ditch your friends and your family, but you need to get yourself into growth environments. That has been the key to my success in competing and the key to success in business. If I could say one thing that's helped me to succeed, it's been the people that I've surrounded myself with. It is so important that you get the right people around you. Mindsets are contagious. Who you surround yourself with is who you'll become. So I want you to evaluate your circle of people. And here's a question I want you to ask yourself. Do you want the mindsets that they have? Do you want the mindsets that they have, the people that you spend most of your time with? Does your environment add value, or does it deplete from your goals? It's so important to get around people who make you better, who encourage you, who uplift you, who support you, and that you get into growth environments regularly. Number four is to be present with whatever is in front of you. This is another lesson I learned from competing, where you would have to be so in the moment, and you'd have to just look at the 45 minutes of weights in front of you, or 45 minutes of cardio, or that hill that you're climbing, or that fish and veggies you're about to eat, whatever is in front of you, and be present. Because your focus is one of the most powerful tools you can use in your business. Your focus is where your attention is. And something that I see so many people struggling with at the moment is that they're so scattered. And when I say, what's your goal? 1st of September, 1st of the month, what's your goal for September? Can you answer that? Because without the focus, without knowing what you're focusing on over the next 30 days or the next quarter, you'll be aimless, you'll be drifting, and another month will just pass you by. I think we're in September already. You know, are you happy with your accomplishments in the year so far? Whatever you do, whether it's bodybuilding or business, your focus is everything. Imagine you're in the middle of a Zoom call and your mind wanders off, and you have difficulty staying present with that person. Do you think that that person notices? Probably. If you're in the middle of writing a blog and your attention goes off, now obviously we're all human and this happens all the time, but if you find it difficult to constantly stay in the current moment, if you're worried about the past, if you're anxious about the future, it is going to affect the way you show up, and your performance will take a hit if you're not focused in the task in front of you or the person in front of you. So it's really important to keep your focus on what you want and not on what you don't want. So many of us focus on what we don't want, and that just sets us up for unnecessary anxiety. So being focused is about attending your mind to whatever you're doing and being so present. This is what I love about training. It forces you to be really present, especially if you're pushing a heavy weight up or you're lifting a heavy weight off the ground. You cannot be wandering off and thinking about what you're having for dinner. You have to be so fully focused. when you're running, you can let your mind run quite free because your body is engaged in something physical. And so it's so good for your focus to be able to get into that zone. You know what I mean if you're an exerciser. And whoever you're in front of, that should be the person that you're focusing on. It's like a muscle. You train that muscle of focus and it gets stronger. And if anyone asked me when I was competing which muscle I trained the hardest, it was my focus muscle. It was my focus on, I want to win. I want to be the best that I can be. It makes all the difference in the gym, on stage, in business. And when you're focused, when you know what you want, people can feel that certainty. People can feel that confidence, conviction that you have. Other people notice because you're closing the gap between that vision that you have and the reality. It's getting closer, and this energy comes through your body, and it's contagious. And then number 5, the 5th thing that I learned through competing was to keep showing up consistently. Whatever you're working on is not going to change immediately. Maybe you've been putting in the work and you've been showing up and it hasn't necessarily come with a whole lot of results. It's so important that you just keep going because nothing happens overnight. And champions understand that the process must be trusted. You can't take shortcuts. Some of us want to get there so fast, and I'm all about acceleration. But when you have the winning mindset, it's like being a gardener. It's knowing that you're planting seeds consistently and it will pay off. All of the work will pay off. Before I had a 6-figure business, I used to sit in my room and create videos from my heart. And it was tough knowing that not many people were watching them. It was tough sending emails out when I had such a small email list and connecting with my Facebook group when there was hardly anyone in it. But every day I planted seeds. Every day I trusted the process, and every day I grew, even though I didn't realize it. And in the beginning, no one was asking me to speak for them. Now I have constant requests for people asking me to speak on their podcast and asking to interview me. But I had to put in that work even when I didn't see the result. And a lot of people start things and give up too easily. Like if they don't see a really amazing result within a month, they throw in the towel. So yes, we need to be committed, and we need to have that focus, and we need to be disciplined. But there's no point doing it as a one-off. It needs to be consistent. It needs to be day in, day out, whether you feel like it or not. And often people think that they're not consistent, but actually they're just not committed. Because when you're committed, you will be consistent. So I hope that has given you some things to really think about. I'd love to know, out of those 5, which was your favorite and which are you going to apply? Because it's all about application. It's all about speed of implementation. So I'm going to recap them for you. Number 1, how to develop a winning mindset in business. Commit to your own success. Number 2, remember that everything is a performance. How are you showing up? How are you performing? Are you seeing everything you're doing in your business as a performance that people are watching? Number 3, surround yourself with people on the same mission as you. Mindsets are contagious. Number 4, be present with whatever and whoever is in front of you at any given moment. And number 5, keep showing up consistently. If you want to find out exactly how to do this in your own business, if you want to know how to have a winning mindset, how to develop that winning mindset so that you can stand out from your competitors and so you can grow a successful, profitable business, just pop the word winning in the comments or just DM me the word winning, and we can have a chat about where you're getting stuck, and I can help you identify the exact thing that you need to do to keep moving forward and to accelerate the process. Thank you for being here. I love catching up with you guys every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Thank you for joining me on my very first Zoom to Facebook. I hope it has worked okay, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye, my friends.